Hello everyone, today I would like to show you different areas of the app. And I have a whiteboard here where I can show you the best way to do this. Let's start right away. It is possible, for example, that a company has different customers, regular customers, and it is possible for him to send personalized content. Because one is only interested in hamburgers, or the other is only interested in menus, daily menus. And so, without receiving any data from the users, a company can send content with these customers and thus personalize the content to its regular customers. It goes on. Look further. In the next section you will see more. Hello everyone. Next presentation. It's now about what a user can do with this app. For example, you have your chat, where you communicate with your friends, where, for example, your friends have different interests. For example, you have an interest in soccer with someone. So you can send personalized messages only to the people who share soccer with you. The personalized text or voice message. For example, you can inform your friends about a soccer event without the hassle of having to write to each person every time. You can concentrate on your activities and meet new and existing contacts. Now I'll tell you how it works. For example, that for an event, find more people who are interested in your event. It works something like this. This is the person who wants to distribute. He distributes it to his network, to his colleagues, for example, and then if these colleagues have this interest in soccer, for example, and there are other friends in this region who also share the interest in soccer, the advertising can be passed on to the next person. And so you can reach a large number of people who are all interested in it. And if they are not interested in such an event, then they have another interest in this event, for example, which could be bowling, for example. And so the message that you should come to this soccer event reaches a lot of people who are interested in it. We'll tell you more. Watch the next video. See you later. Now, where does this concept come from? This concept comes from word-of-mouth advertising. Every friend passes it on, and every friend knows what their friends like. So it's personalized content about, for example, this soccer event. And so that can reach a large amount of people and be very scalable. And it also promotes saving time because you don't have to read every message in a chat. But you can just listen to what interests you. What exactly this will look like? You will know where you, for example, where you can send voice messages or video messages. This is all still under development. Share content from person to person. It's just like word-of-mouth advertising. And that's how our system works. How does the whole thing work? It starts when a person lists their interest in the app. You can choose from existing interests or create your own interest communities. Then, other people who also have their interests, perhaps a little less interests, less effort, and you can only listen to what you want and what interests you. Then with a physical contact, or at the moment when sending a QR code from person to person, a match is made, for example, with this interest and this interest. But the third interest is not the same. They have no community. That's how a MatchCoin is created. And why is it currently only a match point? Because the coin has no value. We have to generate a value. And this value is generated on the one hand from the data, but this is not possible with the normal financial system. And that's why we need investors. Investors who bring normal fiat money, as they say, into the system. They can, for example, use this keyword that they offer to users so that they can connect to it with money, and thus provide the user with money for their data from day one. But it can also work differently. It is also possible that users increase the value of their data, reinforce, and therefore these investors do not need to be there at all, because the system works from person to person to person. And if, of course, no investors have to come and you start now, for example, then everyone wins. It's 100% value of data. So the best thing would be if you start now directly and simply save your interest in the app. That's your data. Even with this match, no data flows to our server. It's all on your phone. The match simply creates a link between these two pieces of data so that it can forward this message to the other phone if it matches this keyword, is associated with that keyword. Now, why do we need investors, or why could it work without them? It's simply and easy to explain. It's exactly the same. How money works at the end of the day. If we look at normal money now, that's a note which is worth maybe 20 francs. And if you have these 20 francs, it means that you have actually secured a value that the central bank has secured, that you can trust these 20 francs. And that's actually only said by this body here, the central bank. And now with us, it works in such a way that the data actually has the value. That would be, so to speak, the central bank is the data. Without owning the data. They only know how much data in the world are matched together, and that's how a value is created. This value can also be these 20 francs. We simply call it the MatchCoin. And investors can buy this MatchCoin at the moment so that they profit from the whole system. And thus allowing users to minimize the value of their data. So now it's a question of who is the first to start matching their interests. Starts to match. because then we can even build these coins without investors. And the data has value, we all know that. And that's how we could start. It's clearly up to you now to decide, do you want to be an investor or do you want to link your data with other people? That's anonymous. You don't have any control loosed. The data is yours. And so, there are these two ways. I would like to know from you in the comments below which way you like best. And I will try accordingly, either look for investors or find more people which use the system. Okay, now I would like to explain to you what the difference is between our financial world and the financial world that exists at the moment. For example, we have these 20 francs, fiat money, they say, which is backed by a central bank. Backed by a central bank, that these 20 francs have value now and will have value in the future. It's a little different for us now. We have the data, which, as you all know, have a value. And this data is with investors either secured so that here the data have a value, as is the case with the central bank, that the investors provide money to secure this data. Not secure in the meaning that this data is secure, but that this data has value. Or that people understand that this data has a value and will have a much greater value in the future. And the data is valuable in and of itself. And that would be this MatchCoin. This MatchCoin can either be backed by investors' money, or it can gain its value simply by its nature, for a reason that the data is the value. And this data generates every day benefit to people, or even people who want to use this data to send personalized content to their contacts or via a network of contacts. This content can come to people outside the network. There is a saying that if you have 7 contacts, who are completely individual in the world, that you can reach every person in the world. You can reach every person in the world if you go through 7 contacts, which is the content which can flow over about 7 contacts. Maybe that through this chain of 7 people to find the right person. But it may also be that you can find the person more quickly via other networks. Find the person more quickly, or go a longer way to reach this person. In principle, the rule is that if each contact knew which contact the other had, you could reach anyone in the world via 7 contacts. So you could reach every person in the world. And that means data links have a huge value. And I would like to show you this further in the various videos I am showing you. We start small, we have a small solution where, for example, we only have the first networks, which could be, for example, that you only write to your friends. But that's already completely different than in all other systems because it's personalized. No matter what we do, whether it's newsletters, whether it's a newspaper article that comes to people in a personalized way. It's content, we say content. And this content comes to every person who is interested in it and connects with the previous people. I would like to show you other areas in further videos. Now, I would like to explain to you what the difference is between centralized data and decentralized data. Centralized data is, for example, what Google does. They have a center, they know everything about every person. And say about everyone who has an Android phone, they know a lot about different data. Well, that's centralized. There's no other place where, for example, this person here can benefit from it to this whole network. We have this concept, but we don't have any data storage. We also have the data concept, but we don't own any data because everyone owns data. Every user owns his data. It looks like a network of different people who are linked to each other. And so every piece of content can theoretically reach any person, but that's not the aim of a network, because otherwise you have spam. For us, it works in such a way that, for example, this person has the same interest as this person, and has the same interest with this person, but also with this person has the same interest. That way we don't fill the entire network with any content, whether it's a newspaper article or whether it's a message that has to come from person to person, or whether it's an advertisement published by a company. With us, it is personalized and only arrives where a person is interested. For us, these are the so-called keywords, and works like a hashtag. And these keywords have a value as soon as they are matched, which means a person and another person have the same interest and make a match. They are both interested in, for example, bowling. Bowling is a community. Bowling means that, for example, all people who are interested in bowling in this region can write with each other because they have connected with each other, can meet together every Sunday, or can organize a special event. And that's how the system works, that all people who connect with this interest in this network also receive the personalized advertisements. It's not ads, it's content. Sure, there are businesses, and you can also connect with businesses because maybe you're also interested in different special offers from an entrepreneur, or you're a friend who has a business, and you'll be much more informed, personalized when they do an event. Spoiler, I explain to you once more why I'm mentioning this topic. For example, this company, this is a band. They sent advertising to me via Facebook, and I'm a good colleague of the drummer here. And I would rather get the advertising directly from the band than get it via Facebook with an ad. And they even lose money from that. They have to spend money on this advertising. So connect with companies that you like, and you get the personalized ads from those companies, and you can benefit from that. Like here, for example, that I certainly won't miss this release. So, there are also advantages to connecting with a company, because distributing it makes more money if you connect with different companies who then like to distribute advertising or simply insert personalized content into the network, and thus reach a large number of people. Each person benefits because they view the advertising and pass it on to their friends and connections, and the next sent to the next in the network, the app where everyone wins. That's how the whole thing works. What does this system generate? It generates a MatchCoin by linking with each other. That is our advertising network, and our point system works, and how the points are distributed among people, and how these points are then distributed. The more content is distributed, the more match coins can be generated, the more links are made, the more match coins there are. And then there's just a combustion system, because we cannot generate an infinite number of coins. Otherwise, the coin will never have a value, and that is why there is a burn mechanism that is built into the system. That now, whenever something is done physical with this coin, coins are burned again. And that's how the system works, and that's how we have an ecosystem that brings profit for everyone, and also brings the benefit that personalized content from person to person to person is properly received. I have a quick example from when I was younger. I had a company, a clothing brand, and I wanted to take off with this clothing brand, and so I sent it to all my friends, as you know, and maybe half of the people would have been interested. And the rest were, I think the rest were upset about it, that I sharing this content with them again from time to time. That would never have happened with this system, because I would have linked to the different people, and the system would have known that this person is not interested in it, or that this person here is very interested and absolutely wants to be informed. When I post something, for example, and that was a small example from my time, why this is a very good system that everyone can benefit from. Personalized content has advantages. You save time and you save money. For companies, if the advertising arrives at the right place, or for yourself, because you save time and don't have to look at 1,000 different apps. Continue with more videos. Now, I'll explain how word-of-mouth advertising works, and how it works if you can earn money with it. Word-of-mouth advertising means that people know about a company where a good product is, and you can use it. That's me. and I pass that on to my friend, and this friend might pay a visit to this company, doing a visit to that business, whether it's a bar or a restaurant or whether it's a store. Now, what does that do for the business? The business benefits from advertising. The user benefits from the fact that he benefits from being able to pass something on to a friend, and that friend may find exactly the product they were looking for. They find what they are looking for. And so you can also earn money with it when you visit companies in love, and with customers here and thereby both receive a share of the commission. This creates a word-of-mouth paid cycle, mouth-to-mouth advertising concept. This is part of our concept. Anyone can use it. Everyone does not have to use it. The system works in different ways, but it is a way to earn money. In addition to the money you earn with the MatchCoins by linking and building a network. How does this work in different other scenarios? For example, there is the scenario where people share this content with other people, and nobody is interested in it, or just that it is just information to everyone. And it reaches everyone, completely personalized. Without closing the circle, you can benefit from personalizing the content of a company. You can also say, I would like to link, for example, to this interest from this company. One would rather above this person. Another personalized content can be shared e.g. a pizza that the company shows interest, that this person would rather just have this pizza instead of the pizza from the company here. That is one possibility that exists in the system. And there are many more cycles, and I'll show you that in other videos. What is a MatchCoin? MatchCoin is a decentralized currency that has value through the data that each user makes available to the system. Don't misunderstand that you make your data available to the system. For us, it's a peer-to-peer system, which means person to person or machine to machine, human to human. Just like word-of-mouth advertising works, I give something to my friend because I know the same data. And that's how a decentralized system is created, where it has a value. That's the first thing. It then has a total value. That's a MatchCoin. And in detail, there may be different interests, different communities, e.g. here the green community or the red community, as already shown here. And so the red community, for example, can also have a value. In the case of this system, for example, that would be the bowling community. It has value because it has users who want to be informed about the same interests, want to be informed, want to share their content in the same network, etc. And for example, the green, what could it be? Pizza. These people are all interested in pizza, and that creates, so to speak, a community of pizza eaters. Or even companies that infiltrate this system and a few customers who connect with these companies to also receive content of a pizzeria, e.g. to eat together in a pizzeria. The company can organize an event and bring its community into its restaurant. The whole thing is the MatchCoin, and the details are keywords that are linked together from person to person. No one in this network knows this data. It is you alone who has your list of interests. There may also be other interests that are not available in the network. And it's all just in your phone. How is this connected with other people? That's what I want to show you in the next video. It's called zero knowledge. That means I don't actually know anything, but we both know the same thing. And that's how the system works. Now, in the next videos, I'm going to explain the zero knowledge proof, or zero trust proof, where it's about that nobody has to trust anyone else, because he alone owns the data. Each person owns their own data. Good. Now I'll tell you what it means to have a zero knowledge proof or a zero trust proof. I will show you that with a play memory. That means you don't have to trust other people. And yet, without knowing anything, you can check something and prove something, e.g. memory. For example, I can now prove that these two things are the same. No, I can't, because they are not the same thing. Where, for example, we have two different things, but they are the same thing. Or where we have two of the same interests, but it's the same thing. And so, for example, when the first person says, I like rollerblades, and the other person also says, I like to have rollerblades, then these two together have a match and win a MatchCoin. And they can inform each other about this interest as like a social media post. And how does the whole thing work? The person just has to prove that he owns this card without showing what's inside is inside. And this person does the same, and simply the community then ultimately gives the prize. And this is how match coins are created. We can take different interests. For example, we can still use skis and skiing. We can ski and can therefore create a connection. And so we can meet up with friends to go skiing. That's a zero knowledge proof. You can check that it's the same thing, but without knowing the other person's details. And I don't have to trust anyone because I'm the only person who knows what this part means. And in this case, that's a roller skate. A zero knowledge proof can be generated in this way, and that generates a match coin because it creates a value that this person can check the same thing that the other person found and can continue listening to the content. Our system works in exactly the same way as two memory games, without you showing the card to the other person. For example, I have the card roller skate, and my friend has the roller skate card. It may not look exactly the same, but it is a roller skate. And so me and my friend can prove that this and that are the same thing and generate a match. Now, you can have different interests, e.g. roller skating, train riding, skiing, and so on. Generate matches. Like in a memory game, these two cards belong together. And like a memory that only two people play, I only know this card and this person only knows this card, but together it's the same thing. That's a zero knowledge proof. And so I don't have to have any trust. So that's also a zero trust proof. So I don't have to trust the other person. That's how you create matches. And all these matches can generate a value because this person and this person have the same interest, and through this channel, from person A to person B, a content can be shared. So it works like playing memory in pairs. Now, I can give many more. Different examples: skiing, railroading, so train riding or wheelchair riding. That means you can have a list of your interests in the app, and that is data. That I share with another person who also has a list of interests and data compared at the moment. This works via QR code. And so I and he can compare my interests together. It will continue in the future. There are various ways in which this data can be matched. We call it data mining. With mining, we mean data, we mine data. We connect our data with other people. I'll show you in the next video what the future holds, and how it works that this data will have a very great value in the future. And now you can start saving your interests in the app. You can create a community, so to speak, based on your various interests, such as traveling by train. That you like to go with friends? Train travel with friends. For example, you can save the interest skiing into your list, and so we can start to give this data a value. I'll explain this next in the next video. Now I want to show you how this system will work in the future and how it works at the moment. For example, we have these matches. There is an interest stored in my phone and an interest stored in my friend's phone. And this interest is matched together via a QR code. Matched together. So I show my QR code to my friend. And my friend shows his QR code to me. And so we create a match together. We call that data mining. We mean data, we mine data. Just like we say in the Bitcoin sector, for example, that you mean Bitcoins, which means that almost like in the old days, mined gold with a pickaxe. Nowadays we use computers to find the right solution. And that's how it works for us at the moment with the QR code, that we mine this data. And in the future it will work in such a way that you walk through the street, you have a route and you meet other people on this route. And together with these people, you can use Bluetooth to generate matches. You can set that you only generate matches with your friends, for example. But you can also say you are completely open and do it with everyone. So that when you walk down the street, you have anonymous data. And so a large network is created where this data is used to share personalized content from person to person via the fastest possible route. Which means if we now have this situation here that a person has matched with other people, but these people also have a direct match, then it finds the faster way via one level instead of going via another level, but the system finds the way from up to B, and only via this matched data. So you can use Bluetooth in the future without doing anything. You can just download the app, and the app runs in the background. You put in your interests, and that's how you generate this data mining. And you get a passive income by creating a network. At the moment, it still takes a bit of effort, as the system currently still works with the QR code. But it also has the advantage that you can now match interests with your friends and form a community based on these interests. Otherwise, I will explain in further videos what this is all about and how it works. So, Now I'll explain how the system works at the moment and how it will work in the future. For example, we have these two interests. Skiing. We generate a match between these two interests via a QR code. That means I give my friend my QR code, and my friend gives me his QR code and share it anonymously, his interests. And we create a match about these different interests. Now in the future, the idea is that each person can decide how public they want their data to be. It's not public in the sense that everyone knows, but public in the sense that I want to connect with the whole world's network. So create a worldwide community of different interests. At the moment I am writing down what the first option is, that works direct. Bluetooth flows in between. For example, I walk through the street and meet people. A match is generated by exchanging these interests with these people, and so I can generate match coins automatically and get a passive income because this data is mined. Mining means extracting, that you actually mine this gold in the form of data, that you link as much different data as possible with other people in order to send a message from A to B in the future via this channel that has been created because this person has met this person, and the system then looks for the easiest way to get from A to B. It may be that A and B also have a link, but about another interest. Therefore, only the one with the other linked word would come directly here. Therefore, it is easiest if you really enter all your interests in the app. This data belongs to you. You can decide for yourself whether you only want to do this with your circle of friends. And all other people who are outside it, even if they meet up with you and establish a Bluetooth connection. This does not make a match because you have decided that you only want to do this with your friends. And so you can also use the app. Friends, like in a social media, connect with friends. You do this manually by entering which friend you want to meet. Or you can also scan a QR code from your friend, and the data is then automatically matched with these people every time you meet. And so a perfectly personalized content can be shared from A to B. This has some advantages. Personalized content can be, for example, an invitation to my birthday. And I can make a personalized picture that exactly matches the interests of my friend, so that this friend is also interested in coming to the birthday party, because you can play bowling, for example. Because we are going to the bowling alley, and this interest is included on the post I make to invite my friends. So you see the future that is the Bluetooth. And the QR code that we have at the moment, that's the system that's available at the moment with our app. And you can link your interests with friends right now and generate value by including the matches into the system. Why? You should use this system because there are several companies that cost a lot of money thanks to marketing they spend to can sell their products, can sell to many people. And the small companies, unfortunately, dying out. There are so many companies that their customers lose to large companies who simply firstly offer a more favorable price, can offer than the small companies who have very high prices because they sell fewer products. Therefore, the system helps that this small company can build up a great marketing and bring their content, their advertising, their information to many people via a decentralized data system. And so, firstly, because the products of the small companies do not have to become more expensive, because the company flourishes, because it runs better, and a huge advantage, the large corporation will make less profit from advertising because everything that sells better organically than with marketing is a product, a good product that solves your problems. That's why I'm writing about a problem here, that every small company can also solve, and even not much better and more personally. The large companies have big disadvantages if only bigger companies emerge. You see it outside in the street. All the small restaurants go out of business and only the big ones profit. And so I am in favor of building a decentralized data system where there is also the decentralized way that many small companies can distribute their products.